surviving on a prayer and no idos, surviving on a prayer. The live long shot from the bearded handicapper Geoff Riggs, surviving on a prayer from no idos. Caprio and Tregador fourth.
You're listening to the Auxiliary Gate Podcast, Kentucky's weekly horse racing discussion. And now, here are your hosts, Alan Schneider, the bearded handicapper, Geoff Riggs, Miss Louisiana, Jenny Doyle, and me, CC Broaddus. Hello, welcome to episode number 231 of the Auxiliary Gate Podcast. I got ahead of myself by about 2 years. It is January the 20th, 2026, probably about 20 degrees right now, and I'm wearing my weenie warmer. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about my friends that have joined me this evening. The bearded handicapper is here, Geoff Riggs.
What's happening, CC? How's our fearless leader doing tonight?
I'm frozen inside and out. It's colder than a well digger's ass in Kentucky.
It is cold. It's supposed to get even colder maybe this weekend, like Saturday.
Yep,
Yeah,
With that
Saturday
cold
and
front coming
Sunday.
through. Yeah, crazy.
Saturday could be some snow coming through. So
Mhm.
I'm excited about that for sure. Now let's bring in Miss Louisiana, none other than Jenny Doyle. Welcome, Jenny.
Hey, how are you guys?
Glad to be here. Now, Jenny, I thought of some things I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to impress you
Oh,
on
really?
this podcast. In my past life, I had some involvement in the beauty pageant industry. I bet you didn't know that about me.
No, I did not. What
No,
what were you involved in?
well, I generally gain my life experiences in situations where the people in charge can't find anybody else to do the job.
Okay.
So I'm usually an emergency grab. Like I'm talking like for church. I'm talking about for basketball coaching, anything. So I had a friend through work that she worked for an attorney that I used to use a lot for my real estate closings, and she was a great person. Talked to her a lot on the phone. She's one of those types that never could say no to,
Yeah.
and she was involved in beauty pageant. She did a lot. She was like Miss I don't know, Miss MILF or something like that in
Elf.
maybe 20 or 30. I don't know, something like Miss Married, Miss Married USA or something like it. Miss Married Kentucky or something like that.
Probably Mrs. Kentucky.
I don't know. Honestly, I'm putting this together on the fly. I don't remember a whole lot. This is like 20 years ago. And she said, we need a judge for a pageant at Eastern High School. Would you mind filling in? The other guy couldn't make it. Ugh, yes, okay, I'll do it for you. So I went to Eastern High School on a Saturday morning, and they put me in a room with a former Miss Kentucky and then some other guy that like operated some type of clothing store. And then there was me. And so of the three of us, there was one of us that didn't need to be there. And and so they didn't give me anything to go by. They're going to march these girls out and you're going to judge them. You're just going to give them all a number. And they were going, they were high school down to like fifth grade or something like that. I mean,
Oh, wow. So they were younger then.
they were very young, and
Okay.
they marched. And so they introduced me. They introduced everybody. Then they introduced me as a bank executive. So obviously, right there, that sounded like I had no business being there. They marched those girls out, and I graded everyone. One of them come out. Apparently, there was a controversy because one of them, I can't remember which age group, but she was not dressed appropriately for the occasion.
Oh, and her age.
Well, whatever. I can't remember much about it, but I know it was a big deal with the two other judges.
Oh.
I don't know. I was for it and they were against it, maybe, or something like that. But no, I'm kidding.
Oh
I
gosh.
don't recall much about it. But it was terrifying to me. That whole experience was terrifying.
You had
And
the easy job.
I I had no business being there. That's the truth.
So was that the only time that you've ever done it?
That's the only time I was ever a judge. I think I kind of just like let her know. I was like, I don't think I should be doing this anymore.
Well, it was
So
nice of you to contribute and help out in a pinch.
yeah, I'll never do that again.
Just
Try.
that whole situation just kills me. See, that sounds like borderline problematic. This guy that's a bank executive judging these little girls.
That was the funny thing. I wasn't even a bank executive. I was just an employee.
Oh man.
They had to make you sound super official.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was that's just part of it. You know, I've done a lot in my life. I mean, I've been in a documentary. I've been a
hmm
basketball coach. I've been a Sunday school superintendent. I have done a podcast. I've owned horses.
Yep.
I've been yeah, I've done a lot. I've been a loan officer, been a mortgage. I've owned a business. I've done it all, and
You really have done a lot.
none of it has mounted to shit. I'm here to tell you. Usually a lot of gnashing of teeth on my part. Anyway,
But
Jeff Riggs,
Yes, sir.
the Derby Future Pool closed on Saturday evening, I do believe. I think it was Saturday. It may have been Sunday. Was it Sunday?
Sunday at 6, I believe it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you make any purchases?
I did. So I ended up making a little wager on Cannoneer, who ended up closing at 24 to 1. I think I bet him when he was at 28 to 1, something like that. Just was really impressed with that Churchill victory one with some upside that I thought was worth it. Um, I was looking at a couple others. A couple of the Baffert horses got bet down late, and I did not end up making a wager on them. I did make a small wager on Liberty National, just totally based on vibes, because I was a little disappointed with his effort in the Gun Runner last time. I thought he should have won that race and didn't. But when I saw on Twitter when Kenny McPeak was asked about his potential Derby and Oaks runners, he mentioned Liberty National before he mentioned Blackout Time. So totally a vibes play. 95 to 1 is worth a couple bucks to me.
I think that's right. You made the right plays, actually. Liberty National was a horse I was not interested in until you brought it up. And I remember he was very impressive breaking his maiden at Churchill.
Yep.
Come back and run, I thought it was a weak rendition of the Gun Runner,
Yep.
but I think you could make the case that he came back too quick.
Okay,
And
that's fair.
yeah, I just, what was it, 3 weeks? I think in
I'm not sure.
this day and age, that doesn't work like it used to.
hmm
And I
Yep.
think, if he spaces his races out, maybe comes back, he could come back in the Risen Star
Yep. Yep.
or a race at Oaklawn, one of those, maybe the Rebel or something like that. Give him enough time between starts, and he might be okay. I think that's worth the risk. Yeah, and Cannoneer
Yeah,
would be
at
the
the
other one.
price, definitely worth a shot, I think.
Cannoneer would be the other one because
hmm
I totally disregarded him. I forgot all about his dominant victory on closing day at Churchill.
hmm
Was it closing day or the day before? But
I
anyway,
believe it was the very last race
the
on
very last
closing
race.
day, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not the 2-year-old day, but the next day.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know where he's. I know he's at Payson Park, so he's with Brad Cox's A string. So I would assume maybe we might see him in the Holy Bull. I know he's been working, and the Holy Bull's next, not this Saturday, but the Saturday after next. So I think there's a shot we see him very soon. So that's interesting. But
Yep.
it's
Could
the
be
time,
value if he shows up there and runs well for sure.
yeah, it's the time of the year where now, starting with the Pegasus, there's usually something cool happening every weekend leading up to Derby. So
Mhm.
you've got the Pegasus this Saturday, next weekend the Holy Bull and a couple other preps. and then you go to Tampa, I think, and then you go to Risen Star Stakes, and then Fountain of Youth is soon after that. And so it's a lot going on. So something to look forward to at least every single weekend up until about Bluegrass Stakes Day, Santa Anita Derby Day, up about 4 weeks before the Derby. So finally something to look forward to, something to talk about anyway. Now, Geoff, if you're a fan of Turfway Park, Geoff, you will get a steady dose of the Bearded Handicapper for the next 48 hours, as he will be doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Beard Fest 2026 is what I'm calling it.
That's right. All week long.
All week long.
Be hanging with the people. I'm excited about it.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, we're going to go to our special guest right after this. Coming into 1984, a colt by the name of Devil's Bag was all the rage. He was reigning 2-year-old champion and winter book favorite to win that year's Kentucky Derby. But trainer Woody Stevens had an ace up his sleeve. In the same shed row as Devil's Bag was a son of Seattle Slew named Swale. Swale entered the year 5 for 7, capped by wins in the Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland and the Grade 1 Young America at the Meadowlands.
Swale on the outside, disastrous night, too close to call in a Young America.
While Devil's Bag floundered at 3 to 5 in the Flamingo Stakes that year, Swale would go on to win the Florida Derby impressively. Heading into that year's Derby, Stevens decided that Devil's Bag would bypass the race, but he would be well represented with Swale. Swale was sent off as the second choice at 3 to 1 behind the D. Wayne Lucas trained pair of fillies, Althea and Life's Magic. After breaking from the auxiliary gates post-15 under future Hall of Famer Lafitte Pinkai Jr., Swale stalked the early leader Althea and pounced on the far turn. And the rest, as they say, is history. Swale would give Woody Stevens his second Kentucky Derby victory, following Cannonade 10 years earlier. This would be the first and only Derby trophy for the legendary Claiborne Farm. Swale would go on to finish off the board in the Preakness Stakes, but would win the Belmont Stakes, the third of 5 straight wins in the race for Stevens. This has been another Auxiliary Gate memory. Okay, our guest this evening may have as sterling a resume as anybody in his profession. He's essentially an exercise rider for the stars. We're talking Justify, I'll Have Another, Citizen Bull, Nisos, and many, many more. We are pleased to introduce Humberto Gomez, otherwise known as Beto, one of the key employees of the legendary Bob Baffert Shed Row. Welcome to the show, Beto.
Hi guys, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and I'm happy to be in the show.
Well, I'm sure you're happy where you're at right now. Right now in Kentucky is where we're recording. It's in the 20s right now. How's the weather in California?
We have beautiful weather, apart from last week that we had a lot of rain, but right now it's just paradise. Just put it that way.
Okay, yeah. Well, thanks for rubbing it in. But no, seriously. All right, let's first of all, I'm going to turn it over to Jenny. You guys know each other well. Jenny, we'll let you open up with the first set of questions, okay?
Yeah,
Sounds
sounds
good.
good. I'm ready.
So, Beto, will you tell us like a little bit about your background, where you're from, how you got to America, where you started in the industry, and what possessed you to want to be in the horse racing industry?
Well, the beginning of everything, it was, well, I'm from Mexico City. I was born in Mexico City, and we're obviously there's not too many horses around, but the racetrack. And my dad, he was super fan of racing, and he was always taking us every weekend to the racetrack. And I was probably 12, 13 years old when that happens. Um, and in Mexico City, we have this race called Handicap de las Americas, which is versus Kentucky Derby. You know, it's the most prestigious race in Mexico. And that day we couldn't go to the track, and my dad was like, "Hey, we have to make sure we watch the race." And to be honest with you, I wasn't too thrilled about it. And but my mom says, "Hey, you know, your dad loves racing. Just watch the race with him, and then we take turns." Because my dad loves to talk about racing, about the racing form, and all those stuff. So, long story short, the race goes on, and the horses. At that point, I'm very young. I didn't understand racing that much, and I thought the first three horses in the front, there were the first, second, and third. Um, and then I realized that the horse that broke uh, far back from the group, he came and circled the field and ended up winning the race. So that's what brought my attention to even think that I can ride a horse, because I was just thinking about the speed and the adrenaline and how amazing that was. And that's the way I was looking at it as a young age. And so I told my dad, I said, "Hey, Dad, I wanna be a jockey." And at that point he thought I was just crazy, and he like, "No, just go back to your room, do your homework, and just school. You had to do school, blah blah blah." But like I said, once again, he's such a big fan, or he was such a big fan of racing, and he was thinking about it as he. So later on, he calls me and says, "Why you said you want to be a jockey?" And I said, "I just what I saw just is impressive, and I love speed, and I can't even imagine just the feeling to be on a horse going that fast." And everything went from there. So I went to the riding school, and um, they noticed that I was kind of told to be a jockey, and
Mhm.
they were pushing me really, really hard to. I didn't learn much things about the legs and all the basics, cleaning stalls and that type of thing. Because they said, "Oh, it seems like you have talent, and you have to do it as soon as possible, because you're gonna be very tall
Yeah.
for a jockey." Yeah,
Yeah. So you basically learned, like, did the exercise rider course versus doing all the horsemanship, the other horsemanship parts.
correct.
All right, so you didn't have to do the grooming and mucking stalls and feeding and all of that. They pulled you in the direction of learning how to ride.
Correct. Yeah,
And
and
you'd never been on a horse before. This is the first time that you'd been on one.
um, you know what? My mom is from a little village outside the city, and so we go for vacations there. And I was riding donkeys mostly, and maybe if I was lucky, uh, my uncle has just a trail riding horse, and I got on him a couple of times. But usually, I was riding the donkeys just for fun. Um, Up to this point, when I started riding in at the racetrack, uh, it was all new for me. But
You kind of had an idea of what it felt like to be on a horse.
correct, I at least I have a little bit of balance, and
Right. Which we know is really important, especially on the racehorses.
yes, that's correct. Yeah,
Wow. So then when did you become a jockey? How long was the schooling to get to that point?
I was in the school for if I'm not mistaken, it's been a long time ago, but maybe for 3 or 4 months, and then they put me on a big stable, and
That's pretty
they
quick.
it was pretty quick. It was pretty quick, and then so they like once again they put me to ride horses, like 10 horses every day, going to the starting gate, breaking horses, breaking babies, and just doing it super quick. And I would say it took me a year to ride my first race, and
Wow.
yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
know if I shared this with you or not previously, but I went to horse racing school as well in California.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, up in Castaic. So it was actually the same horse racing school that Corey Nakatani went to when it was located down in Hemet, but the school moved up in Castaic. And out of high school, I applied for a scholarship and I got a partial scholarship and I wanted to do the trainer's course, but when I got there and saw everyone riding, it drove me crazy. So I was like, can I please do the exercise rider jockey course? So they switched me because I had already been riding for I started when I was 4. And so at that
Mm-mm.
point, I was 18. Yeah, I think I was 18 or 19. So I went ahead and did the exercise rider jockey course. And it was a lot. Like we started out on a bale of hay. We called it Alfie. We could
Yeah,
not get
we
on a horse until we mastered how to post and pulling and, throwing crosses and sticking and all of that stuff.
yeah, it's very, very interesting. And the way I look at it now is like I did all those things afterwards. Like I learned the legs, and I was going to a friend's ranch because I wanted to learn what I didn't, and to look at everything from a different perspective, and to understand more about the horse itself and how it's built, how it works, and all that. So I feel like all those things, and my friend, she was a jumper rider,
Mhm.
and I wish I had the foundation that they do. But I've been riding different type of horses, and then you realize that it's just the basics of riding a horse, kind of the same. But then when you ride a different type of horse, it's not a race horse. Then you realize how complex is to be riding a racehorse. Um,
Mhm.
and and I always mention to people, in my view, on my experience, the difference of a racehorse is put it together, and they have a different energy, and I feel like my job is to help the horse to use that energy the right way, to carry themselves the right way. And um, you know we always talk about the connection that we have to have, and to understand the horse, and sometimes to get to the point where you don't fit the horse. um,
Right.
but it's so many things that when you think but I remember I was maybe 16, 17 years old, and I thought I was a good writer, and now I realize that we don't know much. It's just being lucky to be on horses at that caliber, like Justify, Authentic, and all those horses that I've been blessed to ride. And it's just different view um, of what writing is.
So would you say Justify was the most talented horse you've been on, or is there another that comes to mind?
Um, Look, I've been on very, very good horses. Sometimes it's difficult to compare because they run in different situations. Um, I would say he's the best because whatever he accomplished.
Mhm.
But I felt like I've been on another horse, and different horses that they just didn't have the opportunity to get to that point, or to get to the Kentucky Derby or one of those Breeders' Cups. Um, um, it's hard to say, to be honest, because there's so many good horses with a lot of talent that they just don't make it to the race. But if I had to put one on my list that would be the best, it would be him. He was just it's just a special horse, and we always said this when they win all these races. But when I said this horse was special, is because this horse was so smart. It was physically so athletic, and his demeanor and everything. And when you put all that together, it's just what makes a special horse. Um, honestly, these horses make you look like you know what you're doing, and it's just to put it on words. Sometimes it's just difficult to describe. But this horse was just all put together.
Was there anything that really stood out about him to make him special to you?
His mind, his mind, and he was just so classy. And I remember when we were at the Kentucky Derby waiting for so we were at the saddling area, and all the horses were walking around. And I remember Bob says he was looking at the horse, and the horse, he wasn't moving. He was just looking at the other horses, looking at everything was happening around, but very, very contained. And um, I remember the assistant trainer, Jimmy Barnes, he was asking Bob, he says, "So what do you want me to do? You want me to give him a turn?" Right? He's like, "No, just leave him alone." He's very, very calm, and he's looking at everything. Just don't bother him. And I mean, we were there for like 20 something minutes, and the horse never moved and never jump, or nothing was bothering him. And I never forget that. And Bob is telling us like what a special horse we have there, because he said like before, I never see horses like that, like with that um demeanor, like he's so calm. And he was just, whenever you guys tell me to go or what to do, I'm ready.
Yeah. And sometimes if we're quiet, we hear more.
Yeah, sometimes it's when they're too quiet, it's scary, because you go like, oh my god, is this, you sometimes you're thinking she's gonna explode at any time, or scary quiet, but it was in a good way this time.
Yeah. Especially
Yeah.
with thoroughbreds, you don't know.
Yeah.
So you shared with me a little bit about your afternoon role at the races. Do you want to share a little bit about the other aspect of?
Yes. So I'm part of the team in marketing, and so what we do is we hosting people that come and celebrate uh, birthdays, or companies that come and celebrate their end of the year, or awards for their employees. And sometimes we have like VIP people, like actress, athletes, or something. And so what we're doing is basically we're focusing on showing the industry and trying to educate people and make the experience that they have at the racetrack, for especially for first timers, to show them that it's more than just racing and betting on the horses. And we take them to pet the horses, we show them around. I mean, Santa Anita is one of the most beautiful tracks I've ever been, with the mountains and everything. And there's a lot of history there. It was opening day 1934, and I mean, this place has so much history, and we have so many places like the Chandelier Room. We have a speakeasy room. Um, the front runner, the food, it's amazing there. And I feel like I'm doing a commercial now, but trust me, Santa Anita is a beautiful, beautiful track. And the people here in California is very warm. And yeah, that's basically what my job is. And I do this in Del Mar as well. They give me the opportunity to work with the groups and spend time with people, showing them, taking them to the paddock. Also, we give them tours. Um, I gotta say, in Del Mar, Dog O'Neill's barn is just next to the settling area, and he's always welcome people to see how the horses being treated. We're trying to show people what we really do and how these horses are treated, like kings.
Yeah. A lot of people don't see that, and it's so important that we share all of that information and those experiences with outside people. I remember
Correct.
as a
Yeah.
little girl growing up and just hanging on the fence there at Santa Anita, actually probably close to Bob's barn, and just wanting to be on the backside so bad. So I can imagine somebody that's never been around horses wondering what it looks like and feels like.
Some people just to even get the opportunity to pet a horse,
Yep.
and you can see the, oh my God, it's just like it feels so good just to be touching the horse, interacting with the horse. We have so many retired race horses that become ponies, and be the company for the race horses, and they're uh, they're happy to do that. They have a new job, after their racing career, and so people is happy to see that as well. And um, it is, I think, it's a way for us to show how thankful we are for them, and thanks to them, we have horse racing.
Right. Do they still have over there where they had the ponies, kind of over there by the paddock? Do they still have that area where people can walk up and pet the horses?
Yeah, we do. Actually, it's in the infield. Oh no, we have the ponies and the horses that pull the carriage
Yes.
on the other side of the track, and we always have somebody directing people, and letting them know that they can come and pet the horses, look at them, and take pictures with them, with the class deals.
Yeah.
And we also take them with the ponies, and some big weekends we have little ponies in the infield, so people,
Oh, really?
yeah, some people, the little kids can come and ride a horse.
So it's like little pony rides.
Yeah, the very little ones. Yeah.
That's awesome. So basically, you're like a concierge for
Um,
Santa Anita and Del Mar.
yeah. We if you want to call it that, like that, yes. We call ourselves racing ambassadors,
Okay.
because we have a little bit of knowledge of a little on the baiting side, and also well, I mean, working with the horses, sort of say. But we try to help every single way we can.
Now, if somebody's interested in taking a tour or sharing in one of these experiences, like how do they go about doing that?
Usually, when people book for their parties, they always offer them the service. And when we have slow days, we just go and pick random people, and that's my favorite thing to do. I work for this guy. His name is Jeff Chappie, and a very good friend of mine, George Malanche. That they're very knowledgeable on racing, and um, the three of us, we just go and pick random people and give them the whole experience for free.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I bet they come back again.
Yeah. Trust me, I'm shocked myself sometimes, because um, we see people coming back, and sometimes they bring more people.
Which is
And
exactly what we need and want.
correct, and then bring more people. And once again, my goal is not to show just racing; it's show the whole thing, and make people understand what we do and how we treat the horses, and what's the most important thing to, for example, Bob. Uh, it's always like when I go to the track, Bob is like, just make sure the horse is fine. The horses, if you notice any difference, just bring him back to the barn, and we go over the horse, and um we'll do whatever we have to do to make sure the horse is right. And but we have to understand that they're athletes. There's always something that we have to look for, and Bob is one of the best guys, and not because I work for him, but honestly, he's always like telling us, just make sure the horse is right, and that's what we do. And so people, sometimes we bring people to the barn, and show them how we take care of the horses. And we also have Clockers Corner that people is welcome to come in the morning to see training, and also they can have breakfast and meet with the jockeys, the trainers, and I mean, you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. It's a
Yeah,
beautiful place, and it's the best time to see horses training and to understand what we do.
it really is. It's just a whole ambiance, honestly. It like you have to experience it. I don't think there's enough words to describe what workouts are like at Santa Anita. It's just the sounds, the smells, the jockeys, the trainers, the exercise riders, the grooms. It's a whole picture. Well, I think I'm going to turn this over to Cece and let him ask some questions as well. I didn't mean to, take over the whole podcast or anything, but Beto and I can wrap out.
It sounds like it's Jenny's podcast. No, I'm just
I,
kidding.
I told him earlier, I said, you turn it over to me and you're not going to speak. So, just giving him a little taste of that right now.
All right, Jenny, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being on, Beto.
No,
Jenny,
I'm really happy to be there.
it's Jenny's world. We're just living in it right now. But Beto, Bob Baffert was famous for giving his riders walkie-talkies to communicate while on the track in the mornings. But is that something he still does?
Yes, yes. Not all of us carry a walkie-talkie. It's mostly for people that do the workers when they're breezing the horses. Uh, Although when I go, let's say we go to Kentucky, and sometimes he wants to give specific instructions, and he wants to make sure we get the job done the way he wanted. And sometimes I carry a radio, and but yeah, that's a good way to control things that you can when I'm on the track, and even you want to like notice that I'm doing the wrong thing, and so he has the radio to get into your ears.
Does he give instructions during the workout, or is it before and after?
Well, with Bob give you instructions before, in the middle, and after. So yeah, Bob changed his mind um in 2 seconds,
I
and
got you.
because his brain is just thinking about a lot of things that you had to be careful, and just to make sure you do the right thing. That's why I think that's why he's the Hall of Fame.
Right. Indeed. Is that something that's hard to adjust to when you first start doing it? For me, it would be a nightmare because it'd be hard enough just to stay on top of the horse. But I can't imagine, being able to hear instructions while you're trying to guide a horse through a 59 flat bullet breeze.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just sometimes, um, well, the way I do it is when he gave me instructions. I'm trying to prepare myself mentally to the instructions that he gave me, and sometimes then you're almost to the track, and he changed his mind, and give you different instructions, and so you have to reset.
Right.
Um, it's just about being focused and be that's a lot of practice in your brain and your ear just to adjust really really fast.
When you get on a horse for the first time for Bob, does he tell you that the horse has some quality, or does he wait for feedback from you?
um Sometimes he give you an idea what the horse is, especially if he comes from Los Alamitos. He had the assistant trainer over there, and they tell the horse's personality, so he come and tells you it's just this horse personality is like this. It can be tough, it can be difficult, or it's just so easy, don't get on his mouth and stuff like that. um, and sometimes when we don't have any information from a new horse, uh, this he goes like, just go and get to know him, and just let me know what personality is, and then we talk about it when you come back and see if we have to change any equipment or even the rider. Sometimes you're allowed to say, you know what, I don't get along with this horse, so find somebody that fits better this type of horse.
What does it mean when you say to get in a horse's mouth or don't get in a horse's mouth?
Sometimes because horses are so sensitive, sometimes, and depends what kind of beat the horse feels comfortable with. And if he tells me don't get in his mouth, it's because it's a sensitive horse, and he doesn't want you to pull too much and make the horse uncomfortable. And we put like a snuffle, like a very very light beat on their mouth, and yeah, that's what it meant.
When you get experienced or early on in your jockey career, while you were gaining experience, which jockeys did you look up to?
Oh, definitely. One of my idols was Alex Solis.
Yeah.
I mean, there's many, like obviously Laffy Pincay. Angel Cordero was one of my favorites. Patrick Valenzuela, Eri de la Hussein. He when I became a jockey, my style was coming from off the pace. I wasn't as good being on the lead. I feel more comfortable in the middle of the pack or from off the pace. And Eddie de la Hussein was a master for that. And so, yeah, I mean, there is many I can say, but different styles and stuff. But I definitely, uh, Alex Solis was one of my favorites.
Were those guys at the time willing to share, their expertise and knowledge to help the younger guys?
You know what? I wasn't. I didn't. I didn't write here at that age. I was in Mexico City. Then I wrote in
Okay.
Canada. So I met Alex Solis when I was here as an exercise writer. But still, I became good friends, and I remember they bring him to Mexico City just to talk about horse racing in America, and for us to learn something from somebody like him, Hall of Fame jockey, and we had the opportunity to ride with Laffy Pincay, and it was just like amazing to have him there, and the inspiration that they give you is to see if you can reach that to that point in racing. But yeah, I mean, you learn from all these people. Like Mike Smith became one of my favorites, not just as a jockey, as a person. Um, John Velasquez, obviously, and IR Ortiz, or both of them. Um, I'm friends with them, and they're great people. Great people. They're always um, willing to share with you a little bit of knowledge.
Okay. Now, it's never too early to think about Kentucky Derby. And being from Kentucky, I'm thinking about it quite a bit. So, do you mind if there's a handful of really nice 3-year-olds in the Baffert barn? If I throw out a name or two, could you tell me maybe which one you like the best? Or I know you're going to be somewhat diplomatic, but could you give us a little bit of clue?
Um, yeah, I would say it's still kind of early to say, but there is a few of them that it caught my eye. Like Brand is one of my favorites. Brand and Litmus Test, and there is another horse that I've been watching. His name is Potente, and he hasn't run yet, but he looks like he can be a really good one.
Wh-
And I'm me personally, I'm getting on Desert Gate. Um, if I think he can be potentially one of choices.
Desert Gate. Yeah, okay. And then there was a horse that shipped here to run in the Ed Brown Stakes. He won easily. A horse named Boyd. Have you been on that horse?
It's funny that you said that because yesterday was my first time getting on him. And actually, it's one of the horses I don't want to say much right now because, like I said, it's too early. But I think he is very talented.
Very talented. And then another horse named Plutarch that just broke his maiden on the grass at Del Mar. Great pedigree. Both sire and dam were spectacular. Stellar Wind is the dam of this one, who was a Grade One winner back in the day. What any word on him?
Yeah, actually, I'm getting on him. It's um I can say one of my favorites. And you saw that horse running on the dirt and winning on the turf. And like you said, his bloodline is amazing. I feel like it's kind of royalty. Got a really good bloodline. I think, if not mistaken, it's into mischief with Stella Wayne or something like that.
Right.
And yeah, this horse, he's getting mature. He reminds me a lot of Authentic. Um, Authentic was a very energetic horse, and he always come with something new every morning. And we have to work a lot with this horse, and I Plutarch reminds me a little bit of Authentic, um, but it's training really good, and so far, fingers crossed, everything goes right, and I want to see him run the next time on the dirt, and that's not obviously up to me, but I hope Bob put him on the dirt. He's been showing a lot of talent on the turf, but this horse can run the dirt as well.
All right. Well, looking forward to that for certain. I'm going to turn things over to Geoff Riggs, and I think he's got a few questions for you as well.
I sure do. Beto, thank you for joining us tonight. Uh, I guess my first question is just what's it like working with Bob, a Hall of Famer, one of the legends of the sport? What's it like working with him every day?
Well, I gotta be honest with you. It's not. I mean, it's not that easy.
I'm
Um,
sure.
it's not that easy, but it's very understandable. Like working for a trainer that caliber, um, it's always the pressure he that he has, and he has, like make sure we do um, the right thing, with the
Mhm.
horses, and it's just like one thing after another. Like Jimmy Barnes is an amazing assistant trainer. I always said this. I never thought this guy was that good of a assistant. He's so smart,
Mhm.
and and let's put it this way: it's like every other company. You have the brain, and then you have the assistant, which is also very smart, and then we go to two, three different assistant trainers,
Mhm.
and it's a big community and one barn that we all have to put things together. But uh, going back to your question, it's not easy to work for him, but
Mhm.
at the same time, he's one of the trainers that it makes you bring the best out of you.
Right.
Sometimes you're
Right.
not happy, or we're not happy with these ideas, but then you realize that he's telling you to do something for a reason.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. Success doesn't come easily, I guess, right? You have to
Ye-
put the work in.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you enjoy working with younger horses in particular? I mean, I'm sure it's a lot of work too, but it has to be gratifying when they have success and you know everything you went through with them and getting them to that point, right?
Yeah. I don't consider myself to be good for babies.
Okay.
Um, I have to do it,
Hmm.
and I feel like I can describe myself more as a kind of finesse rider than, like, that type of cowboy kind of thing.
Right.
Um, that we have a couple of exercise riders that they're really good with those type of horses. Um, Not to mention Potente. There's this guy. His name is Agustin Lara.
Hmm.
We used to work together with Bobby Franco, and um, most of the difficult horses go to him. And There's another guy that has been working for BA for like 35 years. Um, Manuel Avila, this guy, he has a lot of experience. And so honestly, I'm not saying this just to sound good, but we have a really good team. We help each other. And I always ask Manuel, or Manny, we call him Manny, hey, what could I do with this horse? It's like, it's not working. What I'm doing is not working for me. And what do you think? And things like that. Honestly, we have a really good team. We have good communication. And, it's difficult because in a barn like that, it's always jealousy with the people. And obviously, it's a competition always to who wants to ride the best horses. And
Right.
and I'm glad that we all get along and work together as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great that you can work that way, and you can, some people might just be a better fit with another horse or something like that, and you can work that out. You mentioned Authentic and how he was kind of tough to deal with early on, but you worked through that, and I'm sure you really connect with a lot of these horses, working with a lot of them. Do you have any that come to mind that you really connected with personality wise? Like, do you have a favorite horse, not necessarily the most talented, but one that you just really got along with well?
Yeah. Well, since you mentioned Authentic, it was more than he was never my favorite, to be honest.
Hmm.
But after all we went through with him, I'm always kind of give myself credit more with Authentic than Justify. Justify, he was just amazing. He did it for us, and yeah, we look like we did a good job. And obviously you have to give a good direction to a horse, but really, when the work is done, like we did with Authentic, and uh, it feels so good,
Yeah.
afterwards. And not to mention that we were lucky to have Authentic on 2020 and COVID. That it was, I don't know how to say this in words, but it was beneficial for us, COVID, because they moved the Kentucky Derby, so they give us more
Mm.
time to work more with this horse and let it mature a little bit more. We have an extra
Right.
time, and not having the crowd. It was a big factor of uh, being able to win the Kentucky Derby. Um,
Makes a lot of sense. So yeah, he may not have been a Kentucky Derby winner if it was in May that year, I guess.
yeah, yeah, that's what I always said. And yeah, but there is many horses like Aptitude. I used to ride Aptitude for Bobby
Hmm.
Franco.
Yeah.
He was, um, I feel like I have really such a good connection with that horse. Maybe Medaglia de Oro, and
Oh wow.
there was a horse that it wasn't like a super horse or anything.
Hmm.
His name is No More. Uh,
Hmm.
I feel a special connection with that horse. Um, every time I ride him, he just carry himself in different way. And then I see him with another riders, and he wasn't the same. And I even show a picture of the same horse with different riders, and they were saying, "No, this is not the same horse." But
Mm.
that tells you when you create a connection uh, with a horse, it's just like with your friends, same thing. Like you have this uh, great connection with your friend, and that's exactly what happened with me and that horse.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Well, before I turn you back over to Cece, I read when I was researching you that at one point you helped save the life of a 4-month-old foal that had swallowed a black widow. Is that true?
Yes, it is true. It is true.
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
um this girl, her name is Christine Mojo.
Hmm.
Such a good horseman, very good trainer, and she used to live maybe 35 minutes away from the racetrack. And um, I don't remember exactly, but it was maybe 10 years ago, and I wanted to get my assistant trainer license. As I mentioned before, I didn't my background wasn't like, I didn't learn from the ground.
Right.
And so that I asked her for help. I said, you know what, I need help. I need to learn from the bottom, from the ground, and she is the one who gave me the opportunity to go and work with her at the farm, and that's how everything starts. For me, learning to get my assistant trainer license, and she have I would say about 35 horses there in that place.
Hmm.
And when you have that many horses, there's always something happens. So we noticed that um, because she had cameras in every stall, so we noticed that this horse was very uncomfortable laying down. So we went and checked, and um, his neck, he was huge, and obviously at this point we didn't know what happened,
Yeah.
and we thought it was an abscess or something, and the airways were closed, so he was losing the ability to breathe. And so she started calling different vets, but one of those times that everybody's busy or they were too far away.
Hmm.
And so Belinda Blue, one of the veterinarians here in California, she's like, okay, so the only option we have is I'm gonna FaceTime with you guys, and we're gonna do it, and it's a FaceTime call. And
Hmm.
so we went to do the uh, I don't know how to pronounce this in English. Uh, to put the tube in the
Tracheotomy.
track
Trachea-
that one.
Tracheotomy.
Uh, yes. So obviously it's like something very like it's not easy. It's not easy to
Oh
do.
yeah.
And so
Imagine.
I was holding the horse, and Christina, she started doing it. She started doing it, and um, we cut the skin, and we were pushing to find the airways and put the
Yeah.
tube but um so what you have to do is once you make the cut, you put your finger all the way so it doesn't close again.
Hmm.
And so that was the mistake we were making, because we couldn't get it right, and so the horse was moving a lot. And anyway, so she's like, you know what, we this is getting very, very difficult, and the horse is suffering. So maybe the best thing to do is just to put him down. But then we were like, we didn't have the medication, and I go like, you know what, let me try, and we did it
Hmm.
again, and we find the airway, and we cut a case from the syringe,
Hmm.
and she put it in, and we saw it with dental floss, and all of
Oh
a
my
sudden,
God.
I know all of a sudden you see the horse taking a deep breath, and
Wow.
his eyes start kind of coming back, and yeah, we we saved the horse life, so to say, and we thought he was gonna get brain damage, but no, he was fine, and he ran a couple of times, and he broke his maiden, and then he was having like back problems and stuff like that, but
Uh-huh.
and so she decided to retire the horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And before he at this time, the horse didn't have a name, and she's like, no, well, now we have to find a good name for this horse. And we named him Catemaco, because when I started riding, I was riding this old horse that his name was Catemaco, and I
Hmm.
won seven races on a road. And one of those very honest horses. He was an older horse, maybe 6 years old, and he was just running for me. And
Yeah.
and I that's another um, horse that it's always gonna be in my heart. And I said, how about this Catemaco, and that's why she named the horse.
Oh wow. That's an amazing story. You guys have, I mean, neither of you have medical background, obviously, and you were just able to do that over FaceTime and save the horse. That's pretty incredible. That's a very cool
Yeah,
story. Thank
yeah,
you, Ben.
it's really good feeling after all.
Oh, I'm sure. Absolutely. Take it away, CC.
Okay, last question. Uh, the Baffert stable is going to do a lot of traveling here in the next several months. I know they're going to go take a couple to Saudi Arabia. One is going to tackle the Saudi Derby, maybe the Saudi Cup. Of course, a lot of Derby horses going to ship nationwide. Do you get to travel with any of those horses, or are you required to go with some of the good ones, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, usually whoever is riding the horses, um, the regular rider of the horse that is gonna travel is the one who will be traveling with the horses. Um, I I think I've been in Saudi at least 3 or 4 times, and Dubai I've been lucky to be there maybe, I don't know, like 9 or 10 times.
Wow.
Uh, and so, but I'm always reserved. Not until I have the ticket on my hand, I would say that I'm going. But it seems like I'm on the plan this time. But you never know, so I don't want to say much. But I'm writing ISOs, and um, maybe butane will be one of them. I don't know. He's trying to decide, but I don't want to say names because
Right. Yeah,
uh,
plans can change.
all
Yeah.
I can do is speculate. But exactly. So with
What's your
horse racing, I always tell people like 2 minutes before you're supposed to be leaving, something can change. So I like to be reserved about that. But I hope it's me. I hope I ended up in Saudi again.
what's your favorite destination?
Outside the US, I would say Dubai is amazing. Saudi is just it's not many years that they've been doing this, but it's amazing how they progressing, how they understanding um, how the international situation is with people, not just with horses, but with people as well, and the accommodations of everything. And the last time I went to Saudi, they're amazing. They're doing a great job. And obviously, Dubai has a lot of experience. They've been doing this forever. But I was impressed when I went to Japan. To be honest, the organization, how meticulous they look at everything step by step, and once again, they're very good at just caring about, not that Saudi or Dubai doesn't, like all of them, but I was impressed of the logistics and everything, that how it works to go to Japan, um, and the safe of the horses, the safe for the people, and everything. They're super organized, and I enjoyed very much being in Japan. But yeah, if you ask me to choose one, I mean, Saudi and Dubai. Dubai will be on my top.
All right. Well, fantastic. Beto, this has been a pleasure. Uh, appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Appreciate Jenny for connecting us. And maybe if you can come to Louisville in late April, early May, we can all shake hands at some point. But Beto, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck going forward. And yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, thank you. Um, this is very special for me to be able to tell my story and talk about the industry, and to tell people what we do. And it will be great to meet you guys in person. And fingers crossed we go back to Kentucky and be in the big stage again.
Jenny,
Yes.
this is the part of the program. I don't know if you noticed or not, but Alan Schneider's not here tonight.
I know. Bummer.
Yeah. So when he's not here, we use this part of the program to take shots at him.
Great.
So I'm gonna open the floor to you, and you just say whatever comes to your mind about Alan.
I don't have anything bad to say about Alan. I guess I ruined that one, didn't I?
Yeah. All right.
I mean, he should have been here with us tonight.
Right?
Yeah, wasn't he like
There
the
you go.
family or something? I mean, aren't we his family? That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
roast him.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
I mean, I did pretty good tonight, I think. He's might be on the bench for a while.
Right, right.
There you
Well, it's
go.
like Bobby Knight says, the best way to get to a player is to set their ass on the bench.
That's right.
Bench retains ass, ass transmits signal to brain, brain transmits signal to body, body plays better. Anyway, all right. Let's talk horse racing. Pegasus World Cup is on Saturday. Any of you all been to Gulfstream before?
I have.
You have? What's Gulfstream like? I've never been.
I've never
It's
been
really
either.
nice. I enjoyed it a lot. I went right before COVID hit. So I went for the Pegasus that year when Mucho Gusto won. Actually, Bob
Oh,
Baffert.
wow. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah, and I
yeah.
got to hold his garland.
What?
That's
Jimmy,
cool.
yeah, Jimmy was, I don't know, trying to figure something out, and he just said, "Here, hold this." I said, "Okay."
And
Okay.
he never saw you again.
I have a picture, yeah, somewhere of me holding it. It was pretty cool. But yeah, it's a nice place. I enjoyed it a lot. Obviously, the
Li-
weather's better too.
Little pricey nowadays, I don't think. I don't think this is for me. This is not the type of event that I would probably attend
You don't
with
think? You should one
no, not,
time.
not unless they let me in for free.
Well, that might happen.
Yeah, I'll
Depends
say.
on who you know.
I don't know anybody.
You
I,
think you
I
don't
know
know
Jeff
anyone.
Riggs. I
We
know
can
Jeff.
talk to my buddy Brian Natto about it, track handicapper there at Gulfstream. He's
That's
the
right.
man.
That's
One
your
of the best
guy.
people in the industry, Brian.
Well, this Saturday is the Pegasus World Cup Grade 1, formerly the Don Handicap for many years. Grade 1, 9 furlongs, and boy, there's a horse on the rail that is going to take a
Looks
lot of
tough.
beating. He looks like a monster on paper. He won the St. Louis Derby by 5.5 lengths. I'm talking about none other than Disco Time, another
Mhm.
son of Not This Time, who has just lit up American racing with all of his progeny. He won the St. Louis Derby 5.5, came back to win the Dwyer by 9 3/4 lengths. Didn't beat a whole lot, but he earned a Thorograph number that would absolutely destroy this bunch. I think like a -2.5. So, Disco Time is going to take a lot of beating. Flavian Pratt gets aboard, replaces Florent Giroux. It's a good field, though. You're going to get a full field of 12. You've got two also eligibles in here. Uh, if you guys had a chance to look at anything in here, really a really solid field, top to bottom.
I think Disco Time is going to be really tough, but I wouldn't count out Tapan Street. This is an interesting spot for this one to come back. And just remembering back to Derby time, we got to reflect on that a little bit with our guests today already. But just this past year, Derby time, thinking back to those couple weeks leading up to the race, Sovereignty was one of the horses I really fell in love with, and the other one was Tapan Street. Like that was just he was definitely going to be one of my top selections for sure. Loved how he was coming into the race and everything. Just unfortunate injury, but if he's back to himself and maybe has even matured since then, I think he is absolutely a horse to keep an eye on moving forward.
There's another horse in here that I think's going to be a price that I'm going to consider is just to his outside is a poster
Yep.
for
Mm-hmm.
Godolphin and Owen Hardy.
Yep.
This
Owen
horse,
Hardy.
Yep.
I really needed him last time at Gulfstream in the Harlan's Holiday. He went to the parking lot while Skippy Longstocking got a bit of a ground saving trip that day. This is his third start off a long layoff. Horse can run
Mhm.
on dirt or turf or broken glass, whatever. The only thing I don't like is Flavian Pratt left this one for Disco Time, but you get Junior Alvarado to take his place, and I think this horse could be closing. Looks like a lot of speed in here, so I think it could set up for poster, maybe to get at least part of it. So at the worst, he could be an underneath key for me, maybe even under Disco Time.
I like it. Always like a
Uh,
price.
Jenny, what about you? You like anything in here? You get a chance to look?
I did a little bit earlier. I'm a fan of Brother Kenny, but we'll see how it goes. Yep, yep.
Now, Michael Ivorone owns brother Kenny. Have you ever partied with him?
I have not. But I was recently acquainted with his previous owners who live in Utah, the
Okay.
Kinrosses. Yeah, super nice people.
Okay.
So, the wife was a little upset that he was sold. She was very attached to him. So,
I bet they can afford to buy a new one now though.
yeah, exactly.
Guaranteed. Okay, let's switch gears. Let's
What
talk
what are
about
we gonna
Turfway.
do with the defending champ though here, CC? Wide
Right.
Barrio.
Yeah.
It draws the parking lot. How does he not get a wide trip again? This poor horse
Yeah.
always gets the worst of it and trips.
Yeah. Either gets a wide trip, has to have two jockeys for part of the race.
Yeah. You know, that's asking a lot for his horse is uh almost 7 now. He's officially 7. That's asking a lot for a horse to run another top effort as a 7-year-old. That's plus he, you know, like I said, he gets the 11 hole, but you know, supposedly he's working well.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Rennie Time. My guy Mike Rennie. You know, he's his number one fan.
That's his horse. That's his horse for sure. Now let's switch gears. We're gonna go to Turfway. Uh, I was gone Saturday night. I didn't get to catch a whole lot of the Turfway card, but they ran the Leonada Stakes and Street Beast won wire to wire for Ben Colbrook. But what was your reaction to
I like that. I like that race in general. Street Beast was definitely impressive. Did kind of have things his own way on the front end. He'd be pretty tough. Uh, but full effort for Brad Cox was closing well in there. So I think that's another one to definitely keep an eye on. I think we'll see those two down the line. Maybe even Jeff Ruby maybe down the line. Those two could knock heads again. But the horse that was my top pick in there. Just had a kind of a rough trip, but is another one that I want to highlight in Great White. Just one of the most physically impressive looking horses that I've seen. Probably the best looking horse I've seen since I've been doing this Turfway gig. He missed a break again, just didn't really break very well. Got too far back and just lost himself early. But late in the race, he was running really well, and he had an absolutely massive gallop out, and actually galloped out in front of the entire field. So just one that's going to be a price when these hook up again next time. Don't give up on Great White.
probably going to hook up again in the John Battaglia? I think that's February the 21st. So that's always a really nice prep for the Jeff Ruby
The
Stakes. So,
Ruby. Yep.
yep, looking forward to that. Now, on Saturday, this coming Saturday, is the Wishing Well Stakes, a stake that's been running Turfway a long time, 6.5 furlongs on the Tapeta for the fillies and mares. And pretty cool rendition this time. You get Kehoe Beach on the far outside,
Mm.
who is a veteran of a lot of great stakes races. Last seen at Kentucky Downs finishing 7th in the ladies turf sprint. Prior to that, though, she was a 4th in the Grade One Just a Game and 3rd in the Jenny Wiley at Keeneland back in the spring. And then in 2024, she was a wire to wire winner in the Mrs. Revere. Her main competition looks like it's going to be Dala. And Dala, I am very angry with. She denied me. I had fancy Cabernet and something, and Dala just ran her down
Yep.
and looked like she was just left for dead at the top of the stretch, and she just ran like a bullet. And that this is going to be a pretty good race. I think it's going to be down to these two, but there's the race really come up pretty strong for the level, I would think. So,
Got fancy Cabernet back in there again.
yep, and fancy Cabernet, but I don't think I want her with Kehoe Beach in there.
Yeah, that's
But
fair. That's
uh,
fair.
yeah, this is going to be yes, she's got a lot of speed, and then she's going an extra half a furlong. So, but yeah, Dala and Kehoe Beach hook up in the Wishing Well. Now, last thing, I think this is right. Who is the Wishing Well named after? Wishing Well was a. I'm going to assume this is not named after some kind of like landmark in Florence or anything like that. I'm guessing Wishing Well. The stakes is named after a
Got the
horse.
water tower race.
Right, right. Is there any guesses as what the Wishing Well is named after?
I have no idea. I would have guessed Wishing Well.
Okay, Wishing Well was a multiple stakes winner,
Hmm.
but she's probably best known for being the dam of 1989 Kentucky Derby winner Sunday Silence.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, so I have no idea why there's a stakes at Turfway named after her. I don't have her past performances in front of me. I'm looking at Pedigree Query, and I don't see any stakes wins at Turfway, or it'd be Latonia back then. She was born in 1975, so not sure. She raced on the West
Where the
Coast.
connection is there, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
huh.
damn of Sunday Silence. Anyway, that's all I got. That's all I got. Uh, Anything else y'all want to declare before we sign off?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I got nothing.
All right. Well, we'll end it right here. On behalf of our guest, Humberto Gomez, otherwise known as Beto, Alan Schneider, who is absent, notable by his absence, and then, of course, Geoff Riggs, Jenny Doyle, and a cast of thousands. I'm CC Broaddus, reminding you, in the words of our fearless spiritual leader, Jerry Romans Jr., we're not happy until you're not happy. Good night.